How's it going, everyone? How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Change Your Lives, hosted by yours truly, Deonte Burton. Hope you're having a fantastic Thursday. I tell you, man, every time you hear that Art Blakely, man, boy, it still do something to you. Shit, that good jazz, man. I don't care, and that's one thing with good music. Good music goes over eras.
It does.
It doesn't matter, whatever. It supersedes genres and everything. Just good music. Always gonna be good music. Yeah.
It always brings back music. I mean, music always brings back memories. Even though we probably wasn't alive when Art Blakely made that song, but it still brings back emotions and memories and stuff of things of past. And you're like, man, I remember when I was such and such and I first heard that song,
Man, because you hear all the keys, the horns, man, you hear it all, man. He tapping the cymbals at all there, you know what I'm saying? So that's cool, man. But again, welcome to Change Your Lives, hosted by yours truly, Deonte Burton. First, I'm going to say what's going on to my super producer, DJ Lab.
What's going on, brother? You doing okay today?
Man, fantastic, usual. Also say hey to my awesome assistant, Jonah. I see her on Instagram right now. She be manning everything on the Facebook and everything. So we got an awesome show planned for you guys tonight. Tonight we will be asking and answering the question, do we need black-owned banks? And I think it's going to be a very informative and insightful show. So I think everybody's going to like some of the information that was covered. You kind of maybe get some chance to think. It'll be some of the stuff will be up for a great debate and everything. But that's what we want to do with this show, is always put information out there from our perspective. The things that we know that are facts, we'll state that are facts, and then we'll give our opinions on it.
That's true.
Go to what we normally do with our intro, rehash the previous week. I want to start off saying yesterday I went to a new cigar place out there in McDonough called King Cigar.
Okay.
I had just stumbled up because I had to work on my speech because, again, everybody don't forget, this Monday, May 20th, I'll be giving the keynote speech at the Carver Early College, George Washington Carver Early College baccalaureate. So I was, kind of refining my speech. And just stumbled on this little place, King Cigar in McDonough. George on Racetrack Road. He told me it been open like 3 months.
Really?
Man, it was a cool spot, man.
Really?
Cool.
I gotta let everybody know my cigar lingo. Well, did you get some good sticks?
Yeah,
over
I got
there?
a good stick. I got a good stick. I mean, he gave me a good one. I had God Lord, I'm about to go blank in regards to what I had. It's gonna come back to me. I guess I had too many sticks, but I had never had that one he gave me before, and it was what was that, Toro Fuente? God, I forgot the brand. It was a Toro Fuente, but I forgot the actual cigar it was. But man, it was a good stick. I was in there about a good 2 hours. It lasted the whole time, smooth and everything. I had me a little coffee, and everything. Said the sound on Facebook need adjusting.
Okay.
But it was real cool. It was real cool. Was going there and everything. Real cool crowd. So yeah, you guys in McDonough, Georgia, Henry County, especially South Henry, check out King Cigar on Racetrack Road. Also, let everybody know, since I've really been expanding, my speaking career, I joined a Great Pro Speakers Mastermind group, and that was with the Great Pro Speakers. We started our first session on Monday, and I tell you, man, you think you know a lot of stuff, and I know my ass do, and you realize how much you don't know when you go in getting those classes like that, and it was all real interactive. Everybody calling each other by each other's name. It wasn't just tell you what everything, but everybody was kicking out information. That was it was cool to start that. But that mastermind class, I'm gonna be going through that all year long. But they doing everything in 12-week sections. But I just paid for the whole year classes. I can keep getting constant refinement. But I think I'm gonna learn a lot from that. Well, I know I'm gonna learn a lot from it. So you ever get a chance, check out Great Pro Speakers, Lawrence Watkins and Al Duncan, great instructors and stuff. Even that little 2-hour class I got on Monday, I learned a lot. So we'll be meeting every Monday to go over that information. Also, again, everyone, I'll repeat again that this Monday at George Washington Carver Early College, I'll be getting the baccalaureate speech. That's at 6 p.m. Talking to the seniors, the upcoming graduates, giving them a good charge, before they get ready for their graduation and stuff. I'm super honored to get that, that opportunity to talk to them and everything. And I think I'm deliver a pretty good speech. I've been working on it and everything, so I'm excited about that. I've also applied for a couple spots on a couple more nationally syndicated shows to kind of be guests on there. Also, back and forth to kind of do some little spots here and there. I did I think about a month ago I told everybody I did the show Stellar Roof Table. The young lady Kim Brown out of Phoenix. I did her show, so she actually her podcast she got, and it's like I think the show's man probably about 4 hours long, but she's finally finished edited, and they published that on Wednesday. No, Thursday. They published it on Thursday and everything. So if you get a chance, go to Stellar Roof's Table on YouTube, and I think the show was named Mars and Venus, because it was two gentlemen, me and another young man out of California, and Kim Brown and I think the young lady name was Yana. They both out of Phoenix or Texas and everything. And it was pretty cool. Just talking about relationships and everything, the ins and outs. Just kind of like that same men are from Mars, women from Venus. Ain't that how it go? Yeah. So we was just kind of going back and forth with different stuff like that. It was a pretty cool podcast. So they just, like I said again, they just broadcasted that on Thursday. So check out Stellar Roof's Table. The show is Mars and Venus. You know, I think your boy did pretty good on that. And also, most importantly, to go back on some of the stuff I'm saying, I'm practicing what I preach, what I tell everybody: invest in yourself. Tax season, though, we did pretty good at tax season. So also, I'm doing a couple classes in terms of different little workshops online for tax business owners. So I'm really, like I said, practicing what I'm preaching. I'm putting money behind it, trying to learn, because we're trying to have a few more tax officers, make a few more dollars. Trying to be that super speaker, super author, and everything like that.
Oh, it's gonna happen, bro.
Yeah, and everything. But me talking about it, me making it happen, you still got to put yourself in the right position to do it. So I'm super excited and everything. So I'll keep everybody posted on my next trek with doing that.
That's true. It's gonna happen though. I feel it.
Okay. Now again, the show is Change Live, hosted by yours truly, Deonte Burton. We're streaming live on Facebook and Instagram, and most importantly, YouTube. So if you are viewing us on any one of those, make sure, regardless, you go to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the channel, like, share, subscribe to videos. Again, even though we're streaming on Facebook and Instagram, I think I got over 70 videos posted right now on YouTube. That's where all the videos are hubbed up at. So you can always go back and look at the previous shows, look at some of the other little informative videos. Got a lot of good content on there. So please go to the YouTube channel, Change Live, hosted by Deonte Burton. You put Changing Lives, it may come up because we've had a lot of traction, but sometimes it may, sometimes it won't. But definitely if you put Deonte Burton in the search on YouTube, you'll see that little blue silhouette come up of me. And just subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button, so anytime a video get uploaded, you'll get a notice to look at it. But got a lot of good traction coming on right now. Okay, now going into tonight's show. Now this is a show that I thought about for a while, and I'm super excited about talking to everybody. And what we're going to be doing tonight's show, we're going to be discussing the question: do we need black-owned banks? Okay, and like I said again, I want to provide insight and some information into that question, because we've had this big push about doing it with Banking Black. Okay. And just kind of looking back, I don't know if you guys remember what pushed it out a lot, because it was always just kind of like people talk about it, but we had a big push about a couple of years ago. It had the, a lot of the police brutality cases where you had a lot of uprising where, with the Michael Brown, God, I'm getting some of these gentlemen names. I'm sorry, I'm going blank with them. I'm thinking about these banks. But then a lot of police brutality, a big response was, you had a lot of black celebrities, politicians, musicians coming out saying, hey, listen, just, buy black. Mm-hmm. So just deal with black-owned businesses, deal with black-owned restaurants, just deal with black people in general, because there was not a big response from a lot of these corporate companies or even from government agencies in relation to it. Everybody's kind of more just looking instead of responding.
Yeah.
So there was a big overtone in terms of, look, they're not going to respond to these police killing us. Let's just, just deal black.
Take
exactly.
Our money elsewhere. Show that. I think the push. I'm sorry to cut you off. I think the push was more of, let's show them that our dollar counts as well.
Absolutely.
That the black dollar is not a dollar to take lightly, because the only way to hurt a person is to get in their pockets. Mm-hmm. I guess. So yeah.
Absolutely. And there was a big rush, because you're talking about we're in 2019, like 2014 to 15. there was all this big wave of people joining black-owned banks because hence with buy black and deal black, you had that whole push of bank black.
Right.
So you seen a lot of people coming out, hey, go join some of these black-owned banks and everything. Now, the issue comes with that, and we're going to talk about it in the show, is I personally think it should have been maybe less of bank black, more so learn how to bank. Okay. And we're going to kind of go over some of the information that came about a lot of my research over the past week, and then I'll get some of my personal feelings, and I'll tell exactly where some of my feelings come with that.
Okay.
Okay. Now, to start everything off, 2 weeks ago, over the past week, I put a poll on Facebook and Instagram, and I asked two questions. Number one, do we need black-owned banks? And then number two, why do we need black-owned banks? Okay, simple.
Okay.
Okay, and I had a lot of responses. I had over 100 responses.
Okay.
And I will tell you, I had 100% of yes.
Okay.
We do need black-owned banks.
Okay.
I was like, okay, cool. Then we got a number two. Why? I didn't get not one response.
There's never really a solution to the problem. No, a lot of people can come up with a problem, but they can't come up to a solution as to how to fix the problem, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we all going to say yes to black owned because we're all black and most of us want our people to succeed, but we got to figure out a way as to why and how that can happen.
Well, two things came out of that for me, personally.
Okay.
I think the first thing was by answering the overwhelming answer of yes, we do need black-owned banks. I think it's just more of a bigger feeling in the black community that want to feel like we own something in terms of just say black businesses, just have some kind of ownership, black property and everything. So yeah, we do need it and everything. No particular reason why, but we just need it. Just that whole feeling of saying it's mine.
Right.
That's a black-owned business. That's a black hospital. That's a black store, whatever. That's a black plumber. It's black owned and everything. Just that feeling knowing it's black owned. So people are naturally saying yes.
Okay.
The second thing that comes out of that is no one really had a clue really of the value of the black bank.
Okay.
If there is a attached value of having a black owned bank, it's just like I said again, the sound of it being black or knowing that it's black owned. That
Sounds great.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And I think just that having that feeling of that was just more what pushed that answer and everything. But like I said again, no actual straight knowledge why.
Okay. Okay.
So in my mind, I'm just sitting there saying the possible perceived needs for black-owned banks, to be viable. Two things I think got to happen. I think number one, you need community support, and that's people actually, just joining the bank, getting accounts and everything like that. And the second, just exposure. That being people knowing the bank actually exists, knowing that the bank is there, that's black owned and everything. I just think about the Bank of America bank that was the branch that was on Bankhead Highway, how I remember just having a conversation with the branch manager years ago. They just couldn't get no kind of community involvement. No people weren't necessarily joining the bank. You had to write down Bankhead Highway. It was just a bank there. And a lot of the people that didn't necessarily have a bank account in the community, it was right there, but it wasn't sustainable. And it's just a classic case. I'm just thinking in particular of a bank that was right there in the hood, and it just disappeared.
Okay.
And a lot of times, you ask that question is why, we're pushing, for the banks to be open, what happened to the previous banks? Why they ain't there no more? And go back to what I just said. It's just no community support.
I think that people don't remember that at one time we did have black-owned banks, and the black community did support those black-owned banks because why? We weren't allowed to go into other banks. So a lot of times we're trying to wish for things that we currently had before, and we support it. The support part is what kills a lot of things, businesses, to my understanding.
Yeah, when you look at The first black-owned bank was the Freedman Bank. That was the bank that was established right after slavery.
Yeah, from the Freedman Service.
Exactly. And the Freedman Bank closed. It didn't last too long because of corruption. People putting money in and everything.
It was like I just was.
It was 1870s.
Yeah, I was just reading The Souls of Black Folks. While I was listening to the audiobook at work, and they talked about the Freedmen's Association and the black. And they said the year that the bank opened and closed, and I just can't remember it to save my life.
It wasn't that long.
It wasn't that long at all.
Because I think that they at their peak they had over $70 million in assets, and it dwindled down to maybe like 20 because of corruption. It was open up for black folks, but it was from a perception standpoint, but it still was white ran and owned, and they were just stealing their money. And this is for the Great Depression.
Right.
So people putting their money in, they said,
you ain't got no account here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pulling that old same thing. And then the other thing comes up from a historical standpoint is that once a lot of times, some of those banks or organizations seen that, okay, we're actually viable, we had money to do it, they just kind of scooped us up, hey, look, well, you just come over here. Put your money over here so we can do that and everything. So that was from and people left for various reasons and everything, but you're right in terms of the black-owned bank it was there more so out of necessity because you didn't have nowhere else to go and everything, and it's where you see a lot, especially in those that Jim Crow era. You think about some of those major black hubs: Atlanta, Chicago, Durham, North Carolina, New York, where you had a lot of higher wealthy black a community, and you had a lot of those prominent black-owned businesses and banks there and stuff like that. And over the years, depending on with integration, technology, different things have changed over the years where they've disappeared. Right now, currently, as of October 2018, there are 19 black-owned banks in the United States of America. On record, there are 3 in Atlanta, that being Citizens Trust Credit Union of Atlanta and First Choice Credit Union. So it's 3 in Atlanta right now and everything. Now, to the gist of it says black-owned, is it just one stockholder or maybe like a 5149? I don't know. And everything, but those are your 3 black-owned banks in Atlanta. Again, there's 19 nationally. I want to kind of just shed some light in terms of, from a reality standpoint, look at, when people look at banking, and we say, okay, we don't have this, we should get, the perception is, if I go to this bank, I'm gonna get a loan, and that's not how it is.
Right.
So, and I think that's when we're looking at buying, banking black, and not knowing the actual concept of banking, people have to understand that deposits are one thing, and getting a loan is something totally opposite. And like I said, the loan parameters are still the loan parameters. Now, it's good. I do think it's great to have a black-owned bank there because you do want to make sure that there is somebody, maybe same color as you, that may be empathetic to your plight.
Yeah, to your situation.
But on the flip side of it can be a black person running the bank that never been around black people their whole life.
That's true.
And it happens. It happens a lot.
Yes.
So you do want to have that, but like I said again, putting the money into a bank and that bank being able to give you loans or support you, that's a whole different thing because people have to understand the way banks make money off 2 things, in general. That being the money off interest payments or fees. Okay? So at the end of the day, if you're putting money into the bank, you're really just having, their collateral base for what they're able to lend out.
Right.
Unless they're going to lend it out to you. Because again, if you're talking about you got a saving account, bank ain't really benefiting you having a saving account. They can loan the money out, but the flip side of it is, honestly, they got to pay you some kind of interest. On that money that's sitting in there.
Right.
So again, unless you're going to be able to qualify for loan, it really don't behoove them to be breaking their neck to get you in there.
That's true. That's your loan and the interest payment they pay you is it's not on the revenue side, it's on the expense side.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And so the another thing of it is just, in the black community, it's poor financial literacy. We'll go into the depth of financial literacy a little bit later in the show, but you just really don't have a lot of people versed with the concept of financial literacy or going through that whole process of, hey, I gotta get a loan. People want money now,
right,
and everything, and they get deterred quick because they've made some mistakes here and there in their life, and they can't qualify for a loan now, and now they're getting dejected by it.
right.
So if you turn around and tell somebody, hey, we can get you qualified, do ABC and come back in 6 months, oh, it's just devastating to them.
Right.
You're like you just told them they going to prison. I can't get it today. I don't want it. You're right, so let me just mess my money up and screw all that. So again, that poor financial literacy is another reality that's there, that's affecting us. Another is a lot of times, because especially with, I didn't announce it, but I am the owner of Majestic Business Services, where small to mid-sized business service firm. We do a lot of front end, during, and back end consulting with businesses. People come to me all the time, hey, Deonte, I know my personal credit is bad. What I need to do to get a business loan? And I try to explain to people that at the end of the day, they still got to have an individual as a personal guarantor.
I guess guarantor on the loan. I was just about to say that.
And what people don't understand, typically with a personal loan looks at two things: your income and your credit. Kind of look at, the credit score there, the income there sufficient, you probably get your personal loan. A business loan, and typically if one of those two is off, period, with a personal loan, you ain't gonna get approved.
Right.
A business loan is a little different. A business loan looks at 5 different factors. Okay, a true business loan. Business loan looks at the income, the risk of a particular business that they're doing, your personal experience in that, what kind of industry. It is a viable industry in terms of, making money and everything. And lastly, what kind of collateral you have. So again, income that you're currently making, the risk associated with dealing with it, the experience that you bring to the table, the industry that you're going into, and again, the collateral. They want to make sure you got money on hand. And if 2 of those things is off, typically you won't get approved for the business loan. So that throws off a lot of people from the business side of it. That's not to necessarily stop you, but again, that's what they're looking for. So if you truly want to get into business and do that and get your business loan, that's what you need to be working on.
Right.
Again, so that's another stark reality is there. Another one is, and it's not a bad thing, capital kind of easy to come across right now. We're gonna go through, especially in the information age with the internet, and we're gonna go through some of those, different products that are out there right now.
I think you should step back a couple, and just try to give them an example of what kind of risks they would be looking for that would necessarily make them not qualified, and then maybe what kind of experience, how many years experience that you would have to have in that particular field for them need to say that you qualify. Just to give them a couple examples of things that they might need to try to work on if they're thinking about getting a business loan. Good
question. Good point. In terms of risk, more so in risk in terms of, you say if you got a particular area, if you open up a store, it's a high crime area. What are the demographics of it in terms of the income levels of the community and stuff like that? They're not going to let you open up a store or something like that if they feel like that zip code doesn't have a income level they're going to be able to sustain it. If you're in a high crime area, they don't want to give you a loan for it if it's going to have a lot of break-ins. Or just say it may be a particular store you want to open up that maybe services anybody from the 25 to 35 year age demographic, and they maybe a community full of retirees. So that's the thing when we look at risk. In terms of, what was the other one you asked me?
Experience
ain't necessarily how much. It ain't necessarily be how. It can be how many years. Just say if you're working in maybe 4 or 5 years. But also in terms of capacity, were you a manager? Were you a CFO? Did you actually, were you in a position where you dealt with money? Were you in a position where you did any kind of projections and everything like that? So it's not necessarily even the years. A lot of it got to do with capacity too.
Yeah, I just want to kind of touch on that because somebody might want to open a salon and they say, "Well, I've been braiding hair since I was little."
Yeah, but you braiding hair and you actually owning a salon and actually can show tracks of growth and everything. And again, we start going back to the risk level in terms of where you trying to open it up at. Is it going to be in a high crime? Is it going to be where there is no growth or anything like that? A good example of that is, with daycares. Okay. When you look at people, because daycares, restaurants, and clubs, those probably like your highest risk. You know, when you start looking at it and everything like that for varying factors.
Right.
But typically when banks look at that, but just say let's use a daycare. Person say, okay, I've been watching kids for years. I want to open my own daycare. You probably never thought about this. This is some free game, everybody. Typically, when you want to open up a daycare, you want to make sure that you're putting in where it's a good anchor. Good anchor for a daycare is what? Some apartment buildings or something like that by it. Why do we say the apartment buildings? Because apartments, people are going to be staying there for 2 or 3 years, moving in and out. Why wouldn't you necessarily want to put a daycare in a residential area? Why? Because when people buy those homes, they may have children, but that children going to do what? Grow up. After those kids are grown up, where the kids at?
Right.
So that's the kind of thing you got to kind of look at.
Mm-hmm.
You see how simple that is? I'm
Right.
saying that, but you imagine how many people don't even think about that.
Yeah, because you got to think about, you got to have a constant flow of customers.
Exactly.
And if it's by apartments, people going to move in and out. Like you said, there's always going to be babies in there that need to be watched. Yeah. I think that's something people don't even think about, that little small detail in itself.
The banker do. Shit, the banker do.
I know, right?
They pull that zip code up, man. They already know.
Right.
Like if it's in shopping centers, apartments, yeah, you can get, and everything. Okay, it's viable because you're gonna have a lot of traffic, transient movement, and everything. But near a straight residential area, they're gonna grow up.
That's true.
They're gonna grow up. Now, unless you're near maybe elementary school,
I was just about to say a school, maybe
yeah.
a school.
With that and everything. So it just have to make sure that that's when the location and everything go into play, but a little bit more in depth of looking at that and everything. So that's why I say you got to be a little intuitive when you want to be that business owner and everything.
Makes a difference.
Absolutely. So those are come. That was a good question, Lab. When you just asked that and everything. One of the questions I was just kind of running with myself was that do black people want to commit to being financial literate? Because that was one of the things I was just with the question, and I think everybody wants to become financial literate. I don't necessarily know if people want to sacrifice the time to commit
to learn it.
Yeah, to learn it.
Yeah.
Or the time that it takes to commit to become that and everything. Because again, you're talking about you get yourself in a bad situation. You can't, and it usually comes, over time, and you can't get out of that hole real quick and everything. So I think that's very important that people understand. If you want to become financial literate and everything, I give certain steps, what I think people need to focus on in a little bit, but people have to realize there's a process, and everybody not patient with processes.
That's true.
So
there's a process to anything, though.
Absolutely. But that goes back to that parameter is that's why a lot of folks, again, we talked about this before. Success is self-determined. You know what makes it that? But that's why you have some people have some things and some don't, because some people willing to make some sacrifices other people's aren't.
Right. Okay.
And everything. Sometimes you might get lucky and you hit the cash tree, but over time, typically you've done things over time that put you in a certain position.
Okay.
People have what they have a lot of time because they are the way they are and they've done what they've done.
Right.
Some got lucky, but majority of the time people done certain things and been a certain way to put themselves in those kind of positions.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true.
So that's one thing with that. Now, what I flipped it was, and I looked at some of the black-owned banks. And I said, do they actually target the black community? And when I did some research, because me, with being an accountant, I've got federal loans, which is probably the most stringent loan you can get, from local banks, private investors, and everything over the years. I don't necessarily say, I think most black-owned banks have the idea, and they'll push it, hey, within the black community, we'll help, as far as financial literacy, help invest in the community and everything like that. That's their spiel, but that's not the case.
Yeah. Because
I think overwhelmingly they know most of the times that the people that they serve, that they can market to being the black community, most of them not necessarily going to be financial literate or be able to qualify for some of their loan products. And I guarantee you right now, you go to Citizen Trust and all them, I guarantee you most of the people that have their loans are not black folks.
Yeah.
I think they've done a lot with probably some white construction companies or foreign companies and everything like that. And it's in theory, hey, we're here, we're black owned, we want to help the community grow and help and do that. But it's not enough of the customer base to sustain them.
It's not a viable customer base, right, to sustain them. But I think people get lost in the fact of black owned that is automatically going to do something better for the community, and that's not necessarily the case, because even though I'm a black owned bank and I see all these other banks not really invest in the community and they're viable, why would I do the same business models they're doing and try to get the same customer they're going so I can stay viable?
Well, to that point, I mean, some of them do. I mean, you know, Chase and Bank of America, they do invest in the black community. I mean, they pick and choose.
Right.
In terms of, I mean, I look at, you know, with 100, you know, like the donations we get and stuff like that. But again, it's business. I mean, let's just be real. People can sit here and just say, okay, look, you know, you see a lot of people say, we're going to get a 501c3 and we're going to get these donations, these corporate sponsors. And they don't understand that, I always use that analogy when I always say people come to folks with palms up. You know, at the end of the day, we doing business. You come with palms up, begging me for stuff like that. What you going to give me? You got to have one palm up and one palm down. And if you can't turn around and say, look, you're asking me for my money, so you're going to bring me customers, you're going to do something like that. And if you ain't equipped to do that, that's why you don't get no money.
Exactly.
So what is your 501c3 doing? Now, if you turn around saying, okay, look, you know, if you donate X amount of dollars to us, we're going to patronize your business. We're going to promote this in the community, put the banners up, put this stuff on our website and stuff like that. That's different. So, again, do they do some stuff out the kindness of their heart, some of the banks? Yeah, if they got a heart. But most of the stuff community-based, they look for some kind of ROI or return on investment from that. You know, it ain't nothing just done. Right. So, to that point, I don't necessarily know if some of the black-owned banks have those budgets to compete with a Bank of America, to compete with a Chase, with the community. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, you know, to make those kind of community investments to where they're more visible. You can see, you know, you can go drive by a Habitat house, you know, funded by Home Depot, funded by Chase Bank, funded by Bank of America. I mean, are you going to see it with Citizen Trust? They may, but do they have the money to put it behind that? That makes sense?
I get what you're saying, but they don't necessarily have to compete on such a large scale as the larger banks if they know that they don't have the capital to do so, but they still can invest in the community and be seen on a smaller scale. Visibility is visibility. Me and you always talk about that. Business is business. Visibility is visibility. Even if they just only take one or two houses on the block that may be dilapidated and the houses may be dilapidated and the block may not be good, rebuild them up and do what they can to turn those around and make them look better, then they have those. And, you know, they don't have to do the whole block, but I think they may not have the capital, but I believe in my heart that they have enough capital to do something.
I think because in my research, most of them, you know, have free financial literacy workshops. They do certain things at a certain level. But again, like you just said, they get seen. But, you know, some stars are brighter than others. So when you're out there, you get seen, hey, you know, maybe say Citizen Trust did this, another black-owned bank did that. But, you know, like I say again, if you got this bright light that this other bank did, just being seen more. Just like when you see certain commercials.
Right.
You might see one commercial ran, you know, one Check Cola. Check Cola. You see it like, okay, that's a drink. Okay, cool, it seems cool. But if you see 10 Coca-Cola commercials, what you thinking more of? Coca-Cola. You know what I'm saying? So, again, I think that you have to be crafty in terms of, you know, you have a great point in terms of do something, but your something got to be in your budget. Just being realistic. Because I get what you're saying. There's something, but they do things. It's just that you may not see the thing they do. Because I do know they do get those free financial literacy workshops and stuff.
I think the problem, and we're not going to get into their marketing scheme because that's not I can tell them. But I think that the problem is we say that they don't have the funds and finances in order to compete with the big boys. And they don't. And don't get me wrong. I know that they don't. But there are ways around it to where they can be seen. Like I said, if you take those, if Chase is doing 10 houses on the block and they got a sign in front saying these houses refurbished and block reestablished by Chase, well, Citizen Trust can go in there and put a banner on each house that they do. House refurbished, yard and stuff done by Citizen Trust Bank, and they may only do 5 houses, but if you got 5 banners on those 5 houses showing that Citizen Trust Bank did it versus that one plaque at the beginning of the block from Wells Fargo, who gonna be seen more?
Absolutely, get your point. But but going back to what I brought up earlier with the example about that Bank of America that was on Bankhead. I mean, majority of the community
I didn't know Bank of America was on Bankhead.
Well, they closed about in the past 5 years. I think about past 5 years, 5 or 6 years they closed. But the point was like right across, not too far from that Fork and Hollywood Road. Because when I was growing up, it was a Citizen Trust, and then high school. When I got into high school, In the mid-90s, the Bank of America took over because that's why I first opened my bank account before I went in the Army.
Oh, okay.
At that particular branch.
I never knew.
But,
I never knew it was on there.
you know, I think probably like maybe a year or two in the Best Academy was open. But that's when they closed. That being Old West Fulton. But my whole point was majority of the community ain't banked.
Okay.
So you sitting there still, we going back to, I don't care if it's black-owned bank or a bank, if the community not even banking, you know what I'm saying?
I get you. I get you.
They go, you dig what I'm saying?
Right. It's
so,
not viable to stay there if they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
I get
so that's
you.
damn, you know, they ain't just black, a black bank
I ain't seen
issue.
a Citizen Trust Bank in the black community. I don't think. Is there one in like in a predominantly black area? I mean, I don't remember seeing one, and I could be wrong. Maybe I just didn't notice them.
Off the top of my head, you know, there used to be a lot growing up when I was growing up, but I know the one, I think the one downtown, and there was one right down Panola. That's spread out. I think one in the West End and everything. But again, man, you can't be a lot if you ain't got too many people banking with you.
I got you.
You know, I mean, they in some of those black middle class hubs.
Okay.
And everything with that and everything. I don't know if one on Cascade or not, but I'm just trying to think. But you know, they're in certain hubs here and there where people are banking. But again, like I said, you know, the issue is less, you know, marketing, more so are the people gonna use it?
I got
you. Know,
I got you.
And to go to my next thing, I want to add in terms of we just talking about the whole dynamics of banking. We talk about, you know, people needing loans, the stringent things are going to just deal with the bank because again, we can find places to hold our money at and everything, but when we started by banks, we're looking at, okay, hey, you going to help me start my business and everything. What I was talking about just as far as the accessibility of money has changed. The world is flat. We're in an information age. You know, you can get money from damn near any continent right now and everything. And that's what I wanted to kind of bring about. A lot of the non-traditional methods have changed or went away. You know, you have these new programs in place, and these banks are so damn huge, they can't even adjust to it and everything. So, you know, you look at the new funding sources, let's say like your Lending Tree, your Prosper, crowdfunding. Hell, your GoFundMe, Kickstarter, Indiegogo, private investors. You got so many damn options now, they don't even know what damn color you are.
That's true.
They don't know what color you are. So they may have, and they're a lot more flexible in terms of what they're looking at in terms of credit scores and everything like that. You may have some higher rates and everything like that, but the accessibility is there and everything. You know, the banks are regulated, so they actually have to say, look, we got to charge this because they're going off the prime rate. Right. But you're talking about if you need the money, you have a lot more options because you have access with it because the world's at your fingertips. You know, so before you didn't have that. You know, you see, look how many movies have been started off a Kickstarter campaign. Yeah. People go in Indiegogo and do that. Yeah. You know, people go on GoFundMe. Hell, you get pay for your damn funeral.
On GoFundMe.
You know, there you go. Yeah. First time somebody died, they ain't got no insurance money. Do a GoFundMe account. Right. You know what I'm saying? You used to better go to the bank or fry some fish. You know, now we just put something up, and now, you know, you got a couple $1,000s. So the accessibility to the funds and stuff have changed. And that's actually hurting a lot of banks because the banks are just so big. They can't even adjust to that and everything because now you're talking about branches that are worldwide, spread out. They just can't move like that because it's so big. So that's been a big problem with a lot of banks, especially in the past 10 years, because you have all these places sprouting up, Kiva and all these other things that you can just do this. And again, we're going to be putting a lot of this information on the YouTube channel. And quickly, I want to just take a break to say again, this is Deonte Burden. Our show is Changing Lives. Make sure you go to the YouTube channel, Changing Lives, hosted by Deonte Burden. Like, share, and subscribe to it. But again, we're talking about those actual non-traditional funding sources that are there. Like I said, that is there. Yeah, and if you put in there all these internet banks and stuff like that, internet banks that you can just Google internet bank, they're going to be, in all the ones that come up, they're going to be way more flexible. Why? Because they don't have what? Overhead. There you go. They ain't got to do all that.
They don't have no brick and mortar.
There you go. They
might got 100 guys in one building and they got an algorithm that's telling you if you good or not good for the loan. You put in answer a few what they say, you get answer about 5 questions within 15 minutes. You'll know if you're approved or not approved.
You got your funding.
That's
it. You go to them hubs like Lending Tree. They got all these different funding sources in one place, and you just go through all them thousands of different funding prospects. You got your mortgage loan that quick. Like I said, the rates may be higher. It not necessarily be in a dangerous deal, but again, if you come to the table with you are in a bad situation, you gotta be realistic. You either can take that deal with a high interest rate or just kind of take a little time. But the accessibility again is there. So now we even just saying, okay, with a black-owned bank or white-owned bank, whatever, do we even need a bank? You know, and everything.
That's a question right there.
And keep in mind what I want everybody to understand with this information is that the onus is back on you because you're the one that's going to have to stop being reactionary and just do a little information digging. You know, do you need to be waiting on a certain bank to do something or put yourself in a situation and you find the money your damn self? You don't have to be at nobody's mercy. Going into a bank and somebody sitting there, you know, looking at you, don't know you, prejudging you, whatever, get out the window and everything.
I think a lot of people, when they start a business, they have their eyes so wide open and so bright out and bushy tail that they have visions of grandeur. And a lot of people got to realize that you have to start small in order to grow big. You got to crawl before you walk. And if you have these visions of grandeur where you're going to start this business, it's going to be a 2-story chicken shack with, you know, everything you could think of. You can't start that way, because I tell people all the time when we on this radio station and all this, I say, yeah, it's here at undisclosed location and it's small, but all companies start small. Apple, Google, all those, Microsoft start in the garage. You got to start somewhere. Absolutely. And I think if people get the vision of grandeur off, then they might have a better understanding of where they can start, where their beginning is, their middle, and their end is.
Yeah, you can't get examples of business off videos and cable TV. You know, you're gonna have to do a little leg work, go to some workshops, go to some meetings, and do a little groundwork and
research yourself. Like you said, the world is flat. Information at your fingertips. You can start out by, if you don't have the money to go to the networking or all those events, start by researching.
Exactly.
Read some books. I mean, there's things there that you can do in order to learn a business or learn how to make your business viable without necessarily having to go to work. But those are good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking what you're saying, but I'm talking about if the person who's listening wants to start a business and they say, well, I ain't got no money for the workshop. You don't have to. Google, I want fried chicken, and see what comes up.
Absolutely. That's the thing about it. You just a lot of times people don't want to invest in themselves, invest the time and stuff required to do certain things. But I want to kind of, you know, forward into what I think should be done, what people should be doing first in terms of when you say, hey, you know, should you bank black or before I start my bank? I just want to give people some a kind of parameter just for that financial literacy to equip yourself with this information. And once you got this information, the onus is on you to take it, gather it, process it, and then make decisions on, you know, what be the most viable option for you again.
Okay.
Number one, we talk about basic financial literacy. You know, do some information on banking, how banking works, and there's, you know, the whole process. When I say banking, in terms of, like I said before, if you're depositing your money in the bank, that's not necessarily the only way that's benefiting the bank is because now you're giving them a bigger capital base for them to lend out money. Not necessarily they're going to give you a loan because of that. Because at the end of the day, if it's a white bank, black bank, blue bank, it doesn't matter. If you're coming to the table and you're a risk in their eyes, they just can't give you the loan. You know, you have some exceptions here and there. We're going to go over that in a little bit. But again, overall, you got to have your stuff together. So again, learn how banking works. Learn how they make their money in terms of those loan interest, and also those fees. Learn how that process works. Second, get a good idea how credit works in terms of the different factors in that goes into your credit score, being the actual payment history, type of credit, the amount of credit available, those things that go into that, and you'll understand how things can be a lot cheaper for you to higher your credit score, and you'll understand the different things that you could acquire through credit, how that could benefit your credit score to increase, to give you an opportunity to do different things. Next, learn budgeting. Learn budgeting in terms of what you're pulling in, what you're putting out, and where you want to be. Okay? And lastly, kind of make a good conscious effort in terms of retirement. I think what's really been lost, especially probably in the last 5 years. You know, I think I talked to you about this 4-2 lab, boy. You know, that whole millennial generation, these kids out here making this money.
Yeah, they are.
But they ain't putting no money. They're going to be 60 one day and 50 and 60 one day. And a lot of times, you know, they pushing, well, look, I ain't looking for security and everything like that. But even if you're not putting yourself in a situation where you're getting a 401k or a pension, you better be realistic. That's going to be 55 or 60 one day. You ain't going to move like you did in your 20s and 30s.
That's true.
And if you're not putting money to the side, Woo! I don't know what to tell you, but
they're not even buying houses and stuff anymore. They don't even want the responsibility of houses, which they don't know that's part of their retirement too on their real estate and property. A lot of these millennials don't do that. They don't buy cars. They're not. It was a study done. They're not buying cars. They're not buying houses. They're renting apartments. It's just like
we're not in, from a comparison standpoint, nowhere near where whites are in terms of income and everything like that. But I will say this to you: we got a lot of black folks that making decent income. We got a lot of making decent income, especially a lot of young people making decent income. But we still stuck on ain't too many damn black folks own a damn thing.
Exactly.
From a wealth perspective. So I think if you kind of look at those 4 pillars in terms of the banking, the credit, the budgeting, and the retirement, kind of start doing a lot of research with that. I think you'll equip yourself to make some good decisions in terms of what be best for you as far as banking and credit and buying and stuff going forward. Spend that time doing that. Why is that push most of the time? Simple. It's time consuming. A lot of folks want shit, overnight. They don't want to. Exactly. It's time consuming. It's gonna take a while to get done, and people not willing to do that. Okay. Number 2, it's boring. Again, if you're not a person that's kind of into finances and stuff like that, you don't want to read all that. It can get overwhelming. You can look like Chinese, and a lot of times people don't want to sit here and meet with the particular people that can help them. So it's quite boring. It requires a commitment. It may require, number one, commitment of your time, and it may, depend on how much help you need, might require a commitment of your money. People not necessarily willing to make that commitment of their time or their money to learn those particular things. And lastly, it requires some accountability of you. Because at the end of the day, here's the deal. Now, I talk about this all the time. Once you've been told something, you got to be accountable,
Right.
And people so quick, I want to say, I didn't know that, this, that, and that. But did you try to find out? Like I told you, that's one of the first things, one of the main things that's pushed in the military, I learned in the Army, there's no excuse for ignorance.
Right.
Because if you turn around and say you didn't know, so I was going to say right then and there, why you didn't find out?
What
did you look?
What did you do to look find out? Yeah.
That's one of the first things. I mean, that's pushed you from damn day one when you're in the Army. That always stuck with me. And you just feel like a dummy because you know that's going to come back around to you. So that accountability, again, it's time consuming, boring, requires a commitment, and requires accountability. Those are some of the main reasons people aren't really pushing to become financially literate. I think it's still going to go back to, again, that basically people going to have to learn financial literacy regardless. And also knowing that you don't have to be pigeonholed in terms of funding that you may want to require. You still have, some of the other non-traditional factors, family and friends, knowing what family and friends, you may go to a bank, may have to use credit cards, and also, like what we just brought up, all those options of non-traditional being the internet banks, those social media or social banking, like the Kickstarter, the crowdfunding options and everything. You got so much stuff here, and I will tell people going forward, be realistic and patient with your situation. Take your feelings out and be realistic about that, and be patient about what you want to do, and also set a timetable.
I was going to say, and know that it all takes time. You are not going to be an overnight success. I don't care how many videos you look at, how many movies you see. It don't happen overnight. It may take 5 to 10 years, but you got, like you said, it takes accountability and commitment.
Yeah. Well, and I'm going to go into this, and this is one of the biggest things I push in terms of with my clients. When we start talking about the whole realm, do we need black-owned banks, or do we need, just even from a basic banking perspective, I always tell people to get access to capital when you don't need it. Banking and business is all about what? Relationships. And a lot of times people want to go in, if you just look at it yourself, if I come to you off the street and I say I want some money, you're going to look at me like I'm crazy. You might be a little more in-depth to deal with me if you come to me before you need the money and say, hey, I'm Deonte Burden. Hey, listen, I'm looking to start this business up and everything like that. We haven't really got everything together yet, but, how can we do this? Have that relationship. You meet, well, look, do A, B, C, F, and G, and let's talk every month. Because at the end of the day, the banker want to do what? Make money. Are you going to have some idiot in there to act like they're personally loaning you the money that works in the bank? Absolutely. I mean, that's just part of it and everything. But again, you have to understand that you have to put yourself in a situation where you have no relationships open to you. And if you think that just because a bank is black owned, they're going to be able to give you this money, you got your damn mind. And most importantly, when we ask for these certain things, like we want to get more black owned banks open up and everything like that, let's ask for stuff we know we're going to be able to keep around. Let's not be trying to get this stuff open and then we don't take care of it and then we damn lose it.
We don't support it.
And that's why we can go into a lot of times where people are pushing just with the gentrification and everything like that. I'm going to be very honest with you. Do I see a lot of, and this going from just looking at my old neighborhood over there in Bankhead, and I want a few people, I own my house that I grew up in. Grandparents left it and everything like that. Do I think everybody got the financial acumen that Deonte got? Absolutely not. But again, just in the most simplistic form, a lot of people lost a lot of stuff. A lot of it ain't necessarily the older people that on fixed incomes that can't afford stuff. A lot of it because you got a lot of kids that didn't take care of stuff or didn't value mom and dad's house. And then they let it go for crumbs or just let the damn thing go. And now you got all these people moving back into the community. They're saying and tearing it down.
And taxing you out.
Or and making and quadruple the damn property value. Only because one reason what? They cared. So I just think that sometimes when we push for certain things, make sure you're pushing for something that your ass going to keep. You think back when that last market crash, what that, 08, 09?
Oh, yeah, 08.
Okay, and you just think about it. That's when we had everybody buying all these properties. We was investing.
We were buying houses.
We were doing
flipping.
Exactly. Doing it all. The sad part about all that was we were flipping and buying, but we weren't retaining.
Retaining.
And that's the thing about it. We got to actually get back to learning that game. Not necessarily let me make some quick money, do a fix or flip and all that kind of stuff. That got folks head all messed up. Learn how to retain. Learn how to buy and hold. Learn the value of holding those assets and leveraging that stuff out. It's going to take time. It's going to take time. It's going to take a commitment from you. It's going to take an investment of you and your time, sometimes your money, but it's worth it.
It's generational wealth.
There you go.
When grandmama and granddaddy first got their house, they were proud of it because they was told they couldn't have one.
Exactly.
So they got it. They took care of it. That's what happened. Black community back then in the 60s and 50s and 60s was so tight-knit and so well kept because we were told that we couldn't have black community. We couldn't own houses. So when we got the chance to do so, we took extra care of it. We took better care of each other because within our community, we know that we have to support each other because we weren't allowed to go in the white man's store and buy stuff from him. We had to go to his back door, but he still wanted our money. So we took care of things better. To me, this is just my opinion. This is DJ Lab's opinion. To me, we took better care of our community and our things and our property when we were told that we weren't allowed to have those things in that property. It's just my opinion.
No, you're on point, man, because you don't really truly miss something until it's gone.
Exactly.
I always remember the passion and that reaction my grandfather had when he paid his house off, before he died. And he just, man, dang, boy, I just remember that damn look he had on his face when he had that deed in his hand. He had paid the house off and everything. Just to see that feeling, like, okay, I own this and everything like that. And I think a lot of times people have really, they want it, but they don't know that personal sacrifice it takes to pay a mortgage out 30 years. Even if you pay it quicker, but just be done paid something off and it's yours. You own this asset that's appreciating and everything. Not that, car you got from the lot is overpriced. You bought it upside down and everything is really a headache. We talking about you got your own asset and you're like, okay, cool. This is something that's, I bought it for this and it's going to actually be worth that. Man, he had this damn look that was so proud. Man, he was proud. I just remember that look he had on his face. But I just really want us to focus and be aware of the value of some of the things we have. So if we're going to push for the black-owned banks, we're going to push for the black-owned businesses, make sure we're going to do what? Take care of it. That's from the community and, most importantly, the owners with doing it. Because, again, we're going back to the question of do we need black-owned banks? I will say we do need the black-owned banks. Like I said, again, you're going at somebody feeling empathetic for you. But right now in 2019, you don't need any damn bank. You just need to be informed and know what's going on, and you got the keys to the car.
That's true.
You got so many options out here in the world. No one can control your destiny. And that's what I want really everybody to pull from this is that you don't have to limit yourself to do that. And I'm not going to sit here and just try to like, well, some folks just don't know. Some folks just that people find out what they want to find out.
That's true.
And some people are going to take the initiative to do certain things, and some people are going to are going to wait to be told certain things. Some people are going to go to those MPU meetings and find out what the hell the city is doing. And some folks are going to sit around, well, why they building that shopping center over there? They always got these folks, and why these white folk moving this, that, and that? It's just how it is.
That's how it is.
You know, some going to be proactive, some going to be reactive. You got to choose what side of the pendulum you want to be on. So, again, I just want everybody to understand that it's great to have the black-owned banks. It's great to have the black-owned businesses, because I'm going to leave this real quick. You know, this is going to be a show topic we have coming up in terms of, you know, black businesses and everything. I do think that a lot of times you get that misconception that, you know, black folks don't support black businesses, or black folks aren't making products and services that are up to standard or impeccable, or black folks got bad customer service. And I think all three of them BS. I think that we naturally support each other's business. We see it. I think that these black-owned businesses are actually delivering products and services that can rival any business. And I think customer service is overrated. If they were rude to you there, you know, the white restaurant rude to you, the Asian restaurant rude to you, if you like it, the damn food, you're going to go back. Yeah. So and it's just how it is sometimes. People kind of put it to the side. The thing that's killing black-owned businesses really is that a lot of these black-owned businesses, they aren't equipped to be operating. When I say equipped to be operating, I'm talking about proficient enough from an operation standpoint to understand how to stay open from a managerial, analytical, being able to be forecast. We're talking about the actual owner. You know, they know their craft, but actually be able to forecast costs, forecast expenses, forecast revenue, being able to look at payroll to know, hey, I need these many people to be able to project out into jobs and stuff like that, those cost-benefit analysis, break-even analysis. They aren't equipped with that kind of stuff. That may take you hiring somebody to know how to do it, or spending your little money, go to a tech school or something else to kind of get yourself. That's where, as a business consultant, somebody get paid to help fix stuff.
Right.
That's where we're lacking at.
Okay.
Learning that side of it. And we're going to have a show about that too, but the support is there, the quality of service are there, the customer service stuff is overrated. We just got to do a better job as business owners of knowing how to stay open.
And I think we have to change the narrative of when you go into a black-owned business that you automatically expect bad service, or you say to yourself, such and such behind, or, you know, why she back? You know, you just got to go in there with the same attitude as, I'm coming to get this, and we see how it go. A lot of times we kill the service before we even get it.
Well,
the expectations are already lowered because it's a black-owned business. That should not be the case.
I agree with you, but let's turn the table. As the owner, you got to know how to mitigate that. Flip side of it, too, you hear a lot of black business owners say, well, people want a discount. They want this. You hook them up. I mean, shit, you go at Macy's. White folks going to ask for a damn what's on sale. So, I mean, you just got to, you can't be sensitive. You just got to be prepared for that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just like a boxer. They come with a punch, you got to have a counter, right?
Right.
I know they're going to want a discount, want a hookup. Well, look, this, that, and that. Hey, your hookup can be your regular damn price. I'm just saying, that's on you to be savvy enough to figure that out. You see what I'm saying?
The hookup could be the regular price, but all stores have clearances.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So I hear the gripes and the legitimate in terms of, you know, like I said, again, I hear that a lot. Black folks want this for free, and they don't want to go and they see me a bid. They don't want to pay the price. Well, again, you might not need to target them. If you know you're doing a premium service, you need to get people, the premium people that are going to pay you.
That's true.
You just got to be ready for that. Let's go back to being what? The business owner. So that's another show we're going to talk about. But, again, we discussed tonight about do we need black-owned banks? And I think what the leaving point of it is, yes, we do, but more so I think you just need to equip yourself with information on how to bank and what to be looking for a bank. Again, this is Deonte Burton. Our show is Changing Lives. Hey, listen, guys, you know, while we're rounding everything out, I do want everybody to know that I'm the owner of Majestic Business Services. I'm accounted by profession. We've already wrapped up tax season. If you need your taxes done, feel free to check us out. All the information for the company, Majestic Business Services, will be on the YouTube channel, but you can visit on the web at www.majesticbiz.com. Also, you can give us a call at 678-479-4007. Again, that's 678-479-4007. But listen, we do a lot of front end, during, and post operation consultation. So look, just reach out to us. Go to the website, book an appointment. We'll be able to hold your hand through the whole process. Begin with if you want have the idea of starting a business, what to do during the business is open, from accounting, bookkeeping, payroll, just straight consultation, or near the end if you wanted to close it, sell it, anything. We got everything on available for you. I have attorneys that can draft contracts and everything for you. So just let me know. We got everything for you. Again, this is Deonte Bird, and our show is Changing Lives. I had a blast this show. Hope you guys liked it. Please talk about the show, share information about it. Go to the YouTube channel, subscribe to it, like, share it, everything possible. Leave comments, leave feedback. I appreciate everything. I love you guys. One last thing. My son Christopher graduates from 8th grade next Thursday. So we won't have a show next week, and we'll be back the following week. So I'll see you guys then. I love you. Again, thanks for all the support. See you when we get back. I want to be May. Would that be May 30?
Next week?
No, the next week is the.
Yeah, you'll be back the 20. I want to say
the 30th.
The 30th.
The 30th. So
31st is Friday.
Yeah. So okay, well, May 30th we'll be back. We got a good show. I forgot what the show topic is, but I had the videos put out and everything. But again, thanks for all the support, and I appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. I love you guys, and I'll see you in a couple weeks.